us are tuning in for the game on the field, but others are tuning in for that halftime show.
That is right. Bad Bunny is set to take the stage, but of course, we need our own mic check, right? So that's why radio personality, big man Genesis Terrell is here to give us a Bad Bunny breakdown. How are you?
I am great, ladies. Thank you for having me again.
Welcome back.
Oh my goodness. And we really love getting your takes, and it kind of gets us thinking too as we head into the weekend. But we got to start though. What was your reaction when you first heard that Bad Bunny was going to be hitting the stage?
So I think it's really exciting. I don't think people know how big of an artist he is and what this means, not just to a game like the Super Bowl, but to the world. So just to kind of give a little bit of insight, currently, and this may be because he's headlining the Super Bowl, biggest artist on Spotify in the world.
Wow.
Okay.
That says a lot.
Huge.
It does.
Right?
And you know, last week he already won pretty big at the Grammys.
Yeah.
And you know, the halftime show is literally like the peak of an artist's career. So talk about just overall, we've seen so many halftime performances. What truly makes a great one?
So I think what truly makes a great one is keeping the attention on not just the music that we love, but the production. A lot of times there have been artists to perform the halftime show and I'm like, oh, I really like the songs, but it was boring.
Okay.
So I think with this particular show, it's going to be very theatrical, lights, camera, action. You know, there's been a lot of, we'll just say, hoopla around him performing the halftime show. So I think this is a space for him to say, I'm going to really show you that I'm more than these songs.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's good. And to, you know, occasionally, because he was a guest performer a few years ago as well, so do you think he's going to bring any guests on this time?
Man, you know, so I think the entire world is hoping that Cardi B is a guest because his big crossover song, I Like It, was with Cardi B and J Balvin. So for sure, J Balvin will be a guest. But I was looking into Cardi B, and she's actually hosting a party for her sweetie, who's playing in the Super Bowl. So I don't know. It's kind of, and then, you know, a little controversy. A few years ago, she backed out of being a Super Bowl headliner. So I don't know. It'd be great to see her pop up and just come and do that small bit of the song. But for sure, J Balvin will be there, and I'm sure he'll have some other guests, possibly Daddy Yankee. But I think what's really going to be cool is the production. Like I remember a few weeks back, they were talking about him auditioning dancers. So I know we're going to have dancers.
Okay, so like you said, we're going to have dancers. You said what makes a performance is the production. What kind of lights, or do you kind of think special effects he's going to have? And I say that because we all know he's from Puerto Rico. I could definitely see some form of the flag, either maybe in lights, in costuming. What kind of vision do you see?
So, man, you know, I really like to think that because of the amount of dancers that they were looking for, I think we're going to get something at the beginning or the end, in the middle, where there's like a Puerto Rican flag made out of the dancers. I like that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. For sure.
I always like it too when sometimes when you go into like the different games and people get those bracelets and like the lights you can see too from like the audience as well. Maybe that will be an aspect. But you know, we've been talking a lot about production, but we got to talk a little bit about wardrobe. What do you think? How do you think he's going to dress? All of that kind of stuff too.
Full-on Puerto Rican flag.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm waiting to see.
But these are the things that people remember too. A few years ago with Rihanna, right? And she was in the red, or everybody else is in the white.
She was in the red,
Right? And everybody said these were like little marshmallows, but these are those key elements that people see, they remember for years to go, to come on, and that's what I feel like makes a Super Bowl performance like go down in history. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely.
No, I know. This will be very exciting. Are you looking in for anything in particular, you know, coming from your big music background?
Man, I'm just really interested in seeing, I'm hoping that they have a DJ and a live band. Like I always like those elements versus just having the tracks playing with the DJ. And so it's going to be really interesting. You know, this is one of those things where he is probably the most decorated artist for the majority of his music to be in Spanish, right? This not only is a great thing for him, but it's great for the world because there are so many times we hear artists performing in English, but it's a good chance that we're going to get 90% of a set in Spanish.
Okay, and now that you say that, something makes me think, we'll see. I could see some kind of like call and response kind of thing too. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe he brings another artist. Maybe it is Cardi B. Maybe it's somebody else where he's singing in Spanish, somebody's translating it in English. Right. Where you kind of sing this and then you sing it back. Something, I don't know. We're going to see if all these predictions come true. But of course, Genesis, you know you are our guy. We're going to see if everything we all said happens on that stage on Sunday. But thanks for the breakdown.
Thank you for having me. And I got to give a shout out to my sons, KJ and Case. We're going to be hanging out, watching the Super Bowl, and of course to my beautiful fiance, Taylor. We're getting married in May.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, ladies.
All right, well, let's keep the big fun going.